Hey there, it's Lynn Gardner, the founder of Life Yoga, and I am here today talking to you on this video on the internet because I have a really powerful story to share with you. The story has not only changed my life, it's changed the lives of a lot of other people. And although until recently I didn't really realize how important this story was, I never told it, didn't really want to go there, but apparently it means a lot, and it means a lot to the information that I give out, so I'm going to share it with you. When I was a kid, really little kid, I was a gymnast. I was really active, flew my body all over the place, and I competed in gymnastics and went on and on until I was about 10 or 11, and at that point, my coaches came to me and they said, you know, Lenny, you're twisting really weird. Something's cattywampus in your spine, your back, something's going on. You're just not moving right. And they said, you know, you need to go to the doctors. So I said, all right. Went to the doctors. They took an x-ray. The doctor came back into the room and he said, this is the deal. He goes, you have 69 degrees curve in the top of your spine. Sideways, severe scoliosis. And he said, what that means pretty much is that we need to fuse your spine right now, or it's going to progress and get worse. You're going to have trouble walking when you're 15, 16. He said, pretty much what will happen is you'll curl up into a pretzel and be disformed and malformed and disabled the rest of your life. And I just sat there and went, whoa, wait a minute. Like, this is not me. This is not happening to me. And I didn't even know what to say. So I went home and I cried and I cried. And I finally went to my parents and I said, this is not happening. I'm not allowing somebody to go in and make my spine stiff from my pelvis to my head. I'm like, I can feel my body. I'm active. I know I can change this. So my parents listened, and my mom took me to doctor after doctor after doctor, and every doctor said the same thing. They said, you know, we got to fuse your spine. And I don't know what happened. We got to the 10th doctor about, and my mom must have gone in there and talked to him, because I went in there and he said, you know, Liddy, this is the deal. He said, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to put you in these full body braces from your pelvis to the top of your head with all the headgear, 20 hours a day. And the rest of the time, you can get out, you can do your gymnastics, you can do what you want. And he said, I'll do that. But he goes, if it gets 1 degree worse, I'm going to operate on you. And I looked at my mom, and I looked at him, and I'm like, I didn't really have a choice. So I looked him in the eyes, shook his hand, said, okay, deal. I got home, and I went, what did I do? What did I do? You know, I was terrified. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to make my spine change? And despite the fact that I was really terrified and not so happy, I knew somehow deep inside myself, there was some feeling and some subconscious young kid knowing in me that said, no, you can do this. You can move your body. You can make it change. So what I did was I would get out of the shower every day, and I get the back mirror out. We had this antique back mirror, and I'd breathe, and I'd inhale, and I'd exhale, and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to will it straight. I'm going to will it straight. And I found, after I tried this for a while, that if I breathed in a certain way, and I moved energy through my body in a certain way, that I could actually feel something change. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to keep doing this. Nobody knew I did it. Everybody wondered. My whole family's like, why does she take so long in the morning in the bathroom? I would just breathe and do my thing, and then I would go about my day and do my gymnastics. So 6 months later, after being in school and wearing braces and doing all that, I went back to the doctors and got in front of the x-ray machine and took an x-ray. And I inhaled, exhaled, and went, there it is. There's your picture. And so I went back into the waiting room, and the doctor came in and said, you know, I don't think we really did this right. Let's go back in and take another picture. And so I was pretty terrified then. I'm like, oh, God, this could be bad. And I did the same thing. I just inhaled, exhaled. I found my soul. I found that intention, exhaled, moved it through my body, went back into the room. Well, the doctor comes back in and he's like, yeah, I don't really know why, but he's like, your back's gotten better. For some reason, it's improving. So he said, it's probably the braces, I don't know, it's never worked before, one of those things. Just keep doing what you're doing and let's see what happens. So I was like, yes. And I got home, and then I was even more empowered, and I went back into the bathroom every morning, and I did this more, and I did it during the day when I was sitting at school with all my headgear on, just doing my math, doing my thing. And what happened over the course of the next 4 years is it got better and better. And about a year and a half or so, 2 years into the braces, I was like, yeah, no, not doing this at school anymore. I'm over it. So I didn't wear my braces all the time, and I just kept doing what I was doing, and my spine improved. And by the time I was 15, 16, 17, 18, by the time I went to college at 16, I had no more braces, and I was dancing, I was doing all this other stuff. And as long as I breathed and moved my body the way I needed to, I never had pain. So, really cool. When I turned about 20, lights went on, I went to a yoga class, and I went, oh, this is what I've been doing. I've been inhaling, exhaling, manifesting energy through my body to facilitate change. Wow, yoga, how cool. So I became fascinated with all of this stuff, just really fascinated. And I thought, well, what do I study? Do I study anatomy? So I studied anatomy, I studied quantum physics, I studied Buddhism. I began to study all the different schools of yoga just to kind of figure out all these different ideologies of where this came from. And I just really wanted to understand, how do we do that? How do we take our soulful intention, whatever that is, that connection with collective consciousness and transformative power, and how do we actually breathe that into our human being and facilitate change in our bodies and in our lives? How do we do that? How did I do that as a kid? And so I began to study more and more, and I also began teaching yoga, taking private therapeutic clients a lot, even though I wasn't proper teaching yoga, just to help them with their backs or something. And I would do these things and it would work. And people began to get a lot of results from this process that I use that, to change my own spine. So as I went on, I began teaching class, and teachers began to come to me and be like, how do you look at a body and know what to do? How do you know how to do that? And I would always say, oh, well, I studied anatomy, and I studied this school of yoga and this school of yoga. But really what it was my ability to feel and be in my breath and look at somebody else's and know what was happening in their breath and their nervous system, and kind of figuring that out. So pretty soon the teachers were like, yeah, you need to teach teacher training because we need to know how to do this. And I was like, how do I teach somebody else how to be in this feeling of being that creates change in the body? And it was a really big challenge. And so what I did first was I went and I said, okay, I want to take this from this school, and this from this school, and this from this school, and this from quantum physics, and this from Buddhism, and this from this. And it wasn't really working because it wasn't cohesive. And then I went back and I really went into myself and said, wait a minute. This is what the essence of it is. It's that inhale, exhale, and that movement of energy through the physical body and through life to create change. And so I began teaching that. I started a teacher training. I started teaching other people how to do that. And through that process, I discovered that if people understood what was happening and how this stuff works and how it relates to life and how it relates to yoga and anatomy, kinesiology, and breath and neurological system, the more they understood about how this process worked, the better results I had with clients, especially in therapeutics, but just in general in people being able to facilitate change in their bodies. So last year, I got into my hammock in the winter, and I sat down and I wrote a book. And this book is called The Life Yoga Manifesto. And what that book is it's a story, it's my story, but it's also the information and the information about transformative choice and how this actually works and how we take energy or soulful intention or whatever it is, that thing we can't explain, and we actually move it through our physical systems to facilitate change. It's a process and it works. So the Life Yoga Manifesto is a gift I have to offer you. It's a necessary thing for you really to understand transformative process, not just out here esoterically, yeah, this works and there's causal energy and you know, if I do this exercise long enough, I can facilitate change in my body. It's not about that. It's actually about how that happens. Not just that it's possible, but how we do that. And that background and that information is invaluable to any human being who wants to facilitate change in any area of their life, in anything in their physical body. It's just invaluable information. And it's a result of my life process. So I'm sharing that with you. I'm sharing my story with you because it is that important. Obviously, I'm very passionate about it. So the Life Yoga Manifesto, you can look at the link below here, click that link and go get it and read it. It's life-altering. It will help you in any aspect of your life, whether it's your body, your goals, whatever those things are where you feel like you're not quite breaking through. If you read this book and understand how it works and begin to practice the practices from that, it will change your life. So, Life Yoga Manifesto, click the link below, go get your copy. This is Lynn from Life Yoga. Thanks for listening to my story. Know that yours is equally important. Do not be afraid to tell your story, to hang it out there, to be in the world in a way that's powerful and transformative, because life is short and that's why we're here. So have an awesome day. This is Lynn from Life Yoga. Get your manifesto, and I will be seeing you soon.